And as we normally do, I will read the acknowledgement to country. The Australian-ASEAN Academics Forum Online Education during COVID-19 and beyond acknowledges the traditional owners of the land where this program was developed, the Palawa people of the Lutruwita Nations. We pay respect to the traditional owners, to elders past, present and emerging of the land on which all of Tasmania campuses stand. On behalf of the University of Tasmania, we acknowledge all countries participating in this forum and also acknowledge their elders and ancestors and their legacy to us. We acknowledge the traditional owners of the lands where our partners and participants live and work across Australia and Southeast Asia. And my goodness, we've got many, many centuries of elders, haven't we, that are represented in all of the cultures here today and in the past week and a half. So I will, without further ado, introduce Andriyani Marentek. Apologies again, I just do terrible things to people's names, from Sam Ratulangi University, Manado, Indonesia. And you're going to be presenting today on students' opinions on the effectiveness and challenges of the online language learning in the pandemic era. From the perspective of students taking language courses during this awful time, the effectiveness and challenges facing the students within those language courses, I should say, and students' opinions about their experiences and how they've coped with it. And you're going to be talking about the methodology you've used in terms of surveys and interviews, which will be really interesting. And just to acknowledge the many, many decades, 20 years, Andriyani, that you've been working in this space. So congratulations for persisting. And I will pass over to you without any further ado. So if you would like to share your screen, and then we can let you know where that's working for us.
Okay, thank you very much for your kind introduction, Sharon. And thank you for this wonderful, wonderful opportunity to share some portion of my ongoing research actually in this Australia and ASEAN forum. And yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Again, I'm Andriyani Marentek, as Professor Sharon Fraser has already introduced. I'm a lecturer and head of a language center unit in Universitas Samratulangi, Manado, North Sulawesi province of Indonesia. Maybe some of you wonder where that place might be. You can see on the screen here. Indonesia is a vast archipelago, as you can see on the map here, and North Sulawesi province is on the island here.
It hasn't moved forwards. Your slide hasn't progressed, I'm afraid. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So we're.
Is it frozen or? I'm not sure.
I think it might be, and we're not on the slideshow. We're on what it was, just the PowerPoint.
Oh dear. We can just stop sharing it first, and then
yeah, might try again.
Yeah. Okay. So hopefully this time it is working, because there is an instability in terms of internet connection at home here. There's no problem in my office, but I don't want to cover my face with the mask, so I prefer to work from home today. So hopefully, how about this?
That's good. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Sharon. Good afternoon again, everyone. Yeah, I'm Andriyani. Just call me Yani, actually. I'm a lecturer and a head of a language center from Universitas Samratulangi Manado, North Sulawesi province of Indonesia. And if I can just go to the next slide, hopefully you can see it. Maybe some of you wonder where that place, North Sulawesi, might be. Can you see it? Sharon, can you see it? Okay, yeah.
Yes, we can.
So you can see the map here, the one with the circle here. Yeah, that's the North Sulawesi province. Yeah, this island itself formerly was called Celebes. The one with the red circle here is North Sulawesi, near the Philippines here. So we are very close to the Philippines in this case. And on the right hand side, as you can see here, are some photos of my home university, Universitas Samratulangi, in the city of Manado, North Sulawesi, Indonesia. The little dot here on the map, that's Manado actually. And our university is the second largest university in the eastern part of Indonesia, with almost 30,000 undergrads and postgrads students studying here. And there are also photos of my home-based faculty here, Faculty of Humanities, Fakultas Ilmu Budaya in Indonesian, we call it, of our Universitas Samratulangi. Yeah, that's a bit about my place here. Now, okay, the title of my presentation has been mentioned before. It's about students' opinions on the effectiveness and challenges of online language learning in the COVID-19 pandemic era. And this is actually a small scale study, and I must inform here at the outset that this is ongoing. This is an ongoing research and has not finished yet. So the results which I'm going to share at this stage are the survey findings. And let me start with the background. And yeah, as the COVID-19 pandemic has hit our country since March 2020, we all have been forced to adapt to the situation. Adapt or perish. Perhaps that's a phrase appropriate for our situation now. So wearing masks outdoors, washing your hands constantly, and physical distancing are still a must in our province and in most parts of our country actually. Although the restrictions level has decreased from 4 to 3 in our city now, and the mortality rate has declined in our city, particularly, other regions are still at level 4, the highest level of restrictions in our country. And at our university, our rector has been issuing many circular letters since the beginning of 2020, which most of them instructing us to work from home and study from home from the part of the students. And this has been going on to date. Therefore, online learning has become the alternative to keep academic activities going in our university. And it's been almost 2 years now. And many anecdotal examples, even hearsay implying complaints from students about online learning have been heard. Empirical evidence is, of course, much needed, and many we have seen from previous webinars here, resulting from research, reflections, and experiences from the part of the teachers, lecturers, and educators in this firm, which all have been insightful and wonderful. And to that, I need to be thankful. And previous studies have also shown some explanation on the strength and weaknesses of online learning using their own context. And results of their studies may vary from context to context, thus require different solutions. Therefore, this small-scale study is conducted to investigate students' factual opinions about online learning in our own context. Now, two research questions guiding this study are: the first one, how effective is the implementation of online learning during this pandemic? And the second one is, what are the challenges facing students in their online language learning? The methods used here is mixed methods consisting of quantitative approach using survey and the qualitative one using interviews, which will be conducted later. And the participants in this case responding to the survey were actually 161 students studying language courses at the English department, Fakultas Ilmu Budaya or faculty. And their semester here vary from semester 1 to even over semester 8, and they are from various places in Indonesia, such as from Sulawesi, Java, Bali, Sumatra, Kalimantan, Maluku, and even Papua. And on the right-hand side here, you can see the language-related courses the students take via online learning classrooms. There are 6 of them. And in terms of the questionnaire, yeah, it consists of statements relating to 5 aspects of online language learning, which are online learning in general, facilities, pedagogical aspects, students' engagement, and class materials and assignments. These statements were generated based on class observations and our university situation, as well as from previous studies. Each statement is measured by using a 5-point Likert scale, in which 1 represents strongly disagree, 2 disagree, 3 maybe, 4 agree, 5 represents strongly agree, as you can see on the right-hand side here. Of course, each student has to choose one option for each statement, depending on their experiences. And this questionnaire was administered online using Google Forms, and the announcement for participants recruitment were done through students' WhatsApp groups and through departmental announcements too. Now let's move on to the findings. The first aspect is online learning in general. So as you can see here from the table, there are 4 statements here, and let's have a look at the statements one by one here. As you can see from the pie chart here, the first general opinion for opportunities to improve their English proficiency through online learning. Yeah, it shows 87% or accounting for 140 students agree or strongly agree with it. You can see the blue slice here and the green slice of the pie chart here represents scale 4, which means agree, and 5 strongly agree respectively. And only 10%, as we can see here, only 10% or 16 students disagree or strongly disagree with the statement. The overall mean here of Likert scale value is 3.88 or 78% of the total 5-point Likert scale there, which is in my opinion quite significant as it almost reaches 4 mean score in this case. Now the second one here shows 69% or accounting for 111 students who agree or strongly agree for feeling comfortable studying online during the pandemic. However, 30% or 48%, as you can see here, disagree or strongly disagree with it. The mean score is quite not that high, 3.41, which equaling 68% of the total 5-point scale there. This is not that high, but anyway, almost 70% of the students show positive opinions about it. Now let's move on to the next one. There are 4 statements. The third one here shows that most students, accounting for 90% or 145 respondents, agree or strongly agree that online learning is good for their health. That is, it can prevent them from catching or spreading the virus. Only 9% or 15 students disagree or strongly disagree with the statement. The mean score is 4.17 here or 83%, which is a significant value of agreement. And the fourth one here indicates that although they acknowledge the benefits of the online learning, the majority of the respondents still prefer the direct on-site or face-to-face communication, with 91 students here or 143 students agree or strongly agree with the statement, and only 10%, accounting for 16 students, disagree or strongly disagree with it. And the mean score is quite high, 4.14 or 83% in total. This is also another support for previous studies and a factual actually proof of how eager students are to get back on campus. Now, the next one here is the summary of overall results, which can be seen from the bar chart here, showing fairly significant positive opinions towards the online learning that can improve their English proficiency with 3.88, and their understanding of health issues that lead to the online learning during the pandemic. Nevertheless, the majority prefer on-site face-to-face learning rather than online learning, with 4.14 here. And although more than half of the students feel comfortable with the online learning, many of them don't think so, as can be seen from the low mean score of 3.41 here. So right, now let's move on to the next finding, which is the facilities. So in terms of the facilities that the students have or receive, there are 6 statements, as you can see from the table here. And if we look at each statement on the pie charts here, we can see from the first pie chart here that 57% or 91 students agree or strongly agree that they have enough internet quota to follow the online language classes. But of course, we cannot turn a blind eye to students who might be struggling with it, especially those who disagree or strongly disagree with the statement, as there are 76 of them, or 41% of the total respondents. It is also revealed that the mean point value of Likert scale is only 3.12, or only 62%, which is a low mean score. And the second one, pie chart here, show less than 47%, or accounting for 76 students who agree or strongly agree that they have good internet connection to follow the online language classes. 15% or 24 students disagree or strongly disagree with the statement. 38% or 61 respondents, represented by the yellow pie slice here, as you can see, are still unsure and perhaps might be struggling with the internet connectivity, similar to the internet quota availability. The mean value is also quite low, 3.33, although a bit higher than that of the internet quota. Now, from the results on the third statements here, we can just go on to the next slide. It shows that the online language platforms or application used, such as WhatsApp, Zoom meeting, Google Classroom, Schoology, Unsrat e-learning, which is our university's learning management system platform, YouTube, and so on, they all help students to follow online classes well. And the majority, which is 95%, agree or strongly agree with it. Although, 5% or 9 of them don't think so. We can see here from the bar chart on the right-hand side, the online platforms used by the students. 3 mostly use tools are Zoom meeting, WhatsApp, and Google Classroom, as you can see from the bar chart here. Right. Now let's move on to the fourth statement. From the chart, it is seen that the majority of the students, which is 93% or 149 respondents, agree or strongly agree that they have their own electronic equipment to follow the online language classes. And this might be due to the poor adaptability, of course, in this pandemic situation, which has been going on for almost 2 years now. They have been forced to adjust to the condition as we all have. Although, of course, there are always students not privileged to have the luxury of the electronic equipment, because 12 of them, or counting for 6%, disagree or strongly disagree with it. The mean value is also pretty significant, in my opinion, which is 3.99, equaling 80% of the total Likert scale. Now, the fifth statement here show quite significant results in terms of the facilities that my campus, our university in this case, gives. Our university provides certain internet quota every month for students to follow the online classes, particularly for attending online Zoom classroom. And Zoom meeting actually has become the official online platform in our university since the beginning of the pandemic. And from this, we can see that most students have positive opinion about it, with 80% or 128 respondents agree or strongly agree with the internet quota they have received. Although 18% or 30 students disagree or strongly disagree with it. And the mean score of Likert scale value is not that low, actually, with 3.68 mean scores. 3.91 or 78% in this case. Yeah, so it's pretty much high in my opinion. Now, let's move on to the next findings. This is the summary of the facilities. And their positive opinions actually are shown here in this chart, where the overall result can be seen in terms of the facilities. They have positive opinions towards the online learning platforms with 4.14 or 83% there. And then as regards having their own electronic equipment to follow online classes, most students agree with 3.99 there. And yeah, I think that's pretty significant. The facilities our university has provided also shows quite significant value, which is 3.91 mean score, equaling 78% of the mean score. And the internet quota provided by our university also has fairly significant acceptance with the mean score of 3.68. Nevertheless, in terms of having their own internet quota and good internet connectivity, as we can see in the chart here, many students don't seem to agree with it, and they account for only 3.12 and 3.33 respectively, as we can see here, which are not that significant in terms of their positive opinions. So that's in terms of the facilities. Now let's move on to the pedagogical aspects. As regards pedagogical aspects here, dealing with teaching and learning methods and delivery, there are 4 statements as shown on the table here. And then again, if you look at the statement one by one here, in terms of teaching methods in online language classes, most students seem to agree or strongly agree that the methods used by lecturers help them in learning the materials, with 88% or 142 respondents agree or strongly agree with it. Nevertheless, 10% disagree or strongly disagree with it. The mean score is 3.84 or 77% of the total scale, which is also fairly significant, as it almost reaches 4 mean score in this case. And then the second one, still related to the previous one about teaching method, but the focus is on the delivery of the materials. And as the pie chart shows here, most students accounting for 86% or 139 respondents agree or strongly agree with it. And this reinforces the teaching methods used in language learning, actually. However, 11% or 18 students disagree or strongly disagree with the statement. The mean value is also pretty significant. It is 3.81 or 76% of the total Likert score value in this case. Now let's move on to the next slide. The third chart here shows that the majority of respondents, 82% or 132 students agree or strongly agree that they can follow the online learning classes.
Trễ mất rồi. Em trễ mất rồi. Em quên cái em phải dự mà về mới vào thôi để em dự đó.
Okay, so I thought Finn is going to say something. Okay, yeah, let me continue. Yeah, you can see here the third chart, yeah, shows that the majority of the respondents, 82% of them agree or strongly agree that they can follow the online learning classes from beginning till the end. Only 16%, however, they disagree or strongly disagree with it. The mean value sits at 3.75, 75% actually, which is fairly significant in my opinion, although not that high. And the fourth pie chart here shows that in terms of following instructions in online language classes, most students can do it well, with 85% or 137 students agree or strongly agree with the statement. A small number of students, 10 of them or 6% disagree or strongly disagree with it. The mean score is also quite high there, 3.92 or 78% of the total scale. Now, the summary of the pedagogical aspects is shown in the bar chart here. All the 4 statements receive almost 4 mean score, with the instructions that can be followed well sits at 392, followed by the teaching methods that help students understand the materials well with 3.84. The well-delivered and well-understood materials, 3.81, and the learning process that can be followed well from the start to the end is 3.75. So in my opinion, all receive quite significant scores, which indicates that the pedagogical aspects are more or less well implemented in online classrooms. Okay, let's move on to the next findings, that is the students' engagement and interactions. Now, in terms of students' engagement and interactions, it is a difficult aspect to achieve in online learning. And there are 5 statements here that reflect this aspect with varying score results as shown on the table here. And if we look again at each statement closely, as in on the pie chart here again, In terms of engagement with lecturers in online language classrooms, the majority, as we can see here, 88% or 141 students combined agree or strongly agree with it, whereas only 8% or 14 students who disagree or strongly disagree with the statement. The mean score is quite low in this case, which is, but I think the mean score is not that low. 3.85 is not that low. 77% of the total Likert scale. And yeah, in terms of students' engagement with their classmates or peers, the chart shows the majority of them counting for 80%. You can see on the chart there, yeah, of the total respondents. And 17% disagree or strongly disagree with it. The mean score is fairly significant with 3.70 or 74%. So students in this case can engage fairly well with their peers in online classes, although not as high as with the lecturers. And again, a blind eye nonetheless should not be turned on the other 20% who might struggle to engage with their classmates in online classrooms. Now moving on to the next slide, as regards students' concentration during the online classes, you can see that 72% or 116 students here can concentrate well, which is high enough and still forms the majority of the student respondents here. However, 27% or 42 of them disagree or strongly disagree with the statement. The mean score is not that significant with only 3.47 actually. Yeah. Did I mention the wrong one here? Yeah, the mean value here for the concentration part is actually 3.47, not 3.27. It's 3.47, 69% for the mean value. And of course, this needs to be clarified further by doing interviews with students. And there is a question or statement here dealing with the feeling of isolation in relation to their classmates. The results show here only 39% or 64 who agree or strongly agree with the statement. The other 39 respondents, 64 of them are not sure about it. And 22% or 35 students disagree or strongly disagree with it. And the mean score here, this is the 3.27 one, which is quite low. This is in contrast with their opinion on engagement with their peers, in which the majority of them agree to the statement. And this needs to be investigated further in the interview session. Now, the next one here, similarly concerning, this is actually the summary in terms of interacting with lecturers. As we can see, the student engagement, the bar chart here, the mean score is fairly significant with 3.85 of the total scale. And they also mostly agree that they can interact well with their classmates. And in terms of concentration in the classroom, it seems that they, many of them also disagree with the statement with only 3.47 or 69% of the 5-point scale, which is not that significant in terms of the scale of agreement. And the feeling of isolation in relation to both classmates and lecturers also shows insignificant mean scores with only 3.27 and 3.22 respectively. And this might imply that although most agree that they can interact well with their peers and classmates, but in terms of concentration and feeling of isolation, many still feel a lack of them. So yeah, this may indicate challenges in terms of engagement in online learning that they might experience in the online context. Now, let's move on to the last aspect here, which is class materials and assignment. So the class materials here includes 4 statements, as you can see from the table here. And again, let's have a look at the each of the statement here. The first pie chart here shows 55% or a total of 88 students of the 161 agree or strongly agree with the number of assignments given in online classes. Although 31% counting for 50 students are not sure, and 24% or 23 of them disagree or strongly disagree with the statement. The mean score is 3.47, which is not that significant or not that high. And then you can see from the second chart here, it shows that only 31% or 51 students who agree or strongly agree with the materials that they can understand well in online classes, whereas 51% or 82 respondents are not sure about it. 17% or 28 students disagree or strongly disagree with the statement. And the mean score, as you can see here, is 3.16, which is quite low. Yeah, so in terms of their general understanding of the materials. Now let's move on to the next one here. The third chart here shows that in terms of doing their assignments well and submitting on time, 61% or a total of 99 agree or strongly agree with it. However, 30% or 48 students are not sure about it, and 9% disagree or strongly disagree with the statement. The mean score here is, in my opinion, not that high, but somewhat significant, with 3.63 point scale or 73% of the total 5-point Likert scale. And the last pie chart here shows that only less than 43% or 69 respondents agree or strongly agree with being pleased in general with the assignments in online language classes, and 45%, 72 of the students are not sure or undecided about it. 12% or 20 of the students disagree or strongly disagree with the statement. And the mean value, as you can see, is only 3.31. This actually pretty much support their opinions on the numbers of assignments given in the online classes. Now, from the summary, as you can see here, from the bar chart, you can see that most students fairly agree that they can do their assignments well and submit them on time with 3.63 or 75% mean score. However, many disagree with the statement that the assignments are generally enough for them, only 3.47 mean score. This can mean too much or probably too little, too much or too little to many of them. Many also probably disagree that they can understand the materials well, and also disagree with being generally pleased with the assignments, with 3.16 or 63% and 3.31 mean scores respectively. This may imply some challenges facing students in relation with the materials and assignments given in online classrooms, particularly the understanding of the materials, the amount of assignments given, and their general satisfaction with the assignments and materials. Now let's come to the conclusion. So to conclude the study at this stage, based on the findings from the survey, we can see some of the online learning aspects that might effectively be implemented according to the students' opinions or voices, and some which pose challenges to them. In terms of online learning in general, students tend to have positive opinions towards the online learning in general during this pandemic. Although they understand the necessity of the online learning for their health, of course, the majority still prefer face-to-face learning rather than online learning. So many of the students are so eager to come back to campus. And in relation to facilities, most students have their own electric equipment that ensure them to follow the online language classes. They also receive internet quota and other facilities provided by our university, which indicates effective implementations of giving support to students on the part of our university. However, there's some challenges in terms of the availability of the internet quota and internet connectivity. Now, in terms of the pedagogical aspects, the majority of the students agree that they can follow teaching instructions well, that the methods used help them understand the materials well, that the process of learning can be well followed, and that the materials are well delivered and well understood. And this might imply that the pedagogical aspects are well implemented and effective in the online language learning among these students. Although, of course, the not so high mean score of each statement may indicate more improvement needs to be performed. And concerning the students' engagement and interactions, most students can interact well with lecturers and classmates, but some challenges occur in terms of their concentration in following online classes and the feeling of isolation there. And regarding class materials and assignments, mostly that they can do and submit their assignments well. Challenges appear in the amount of assignment given by lecturers. Many are also not very satisfied with the materials and assignments in online classes. So these are all conclusions made based on the survey results so far, which of course not enough. And further investigation is still needed, of course. Some challenges need to be clarified further as well. So therefore, the results will be triangulated for an in-depth qualitative study. And that is actually the next thing that I'm going to do. And this concludes my presentation today. I welcome comment, suggestions, and questions for my topic today. Thank you very much, everyone, for your attention. Over to you.
Wonderful. Thanks, Yaning. That was really interesting.